Hey, it's Joel. Welcome to 3D Printing Nerd Studios, of course, proudly powered by PCBWay. 8% off using that link in the description. I'm so thankful you're here in my workshop because we get to resurrect this wonderful project printed on the CR30. You can kind of tell it's got that angle right there because the CR30 prints at an angle. This was a project that Caleb did when he was with Make Magazine, and I saw it and I was like, I can go bigger, of course. So I did. 600% scale, and it's these arms and it's these caps that attach the arms, and you can make a whole bunch of them. And originally it was to hold a light. I had other ideas, but let me get the rest of the parts. Let me see. Ooh, here we go. Look at this. Oh, I remember those days of 3D printing with that CR30. It was a lot of fun. And you know, it's interesting now, I don't have any more of those belt 3D printers, but I do have a printer that can print incredibly large. And in fact, since the last time you saw it, it's working. Asterisk. We'll get into that later. And so what I wanted to do was print the rest of these and then mount it on my studio wall so that you at home can give me suggestions on what to print on the end. This was printed on the OrangeStorm Giga. It's a vase or a lampshade, depending on the orientation. And I applied a fuzzy skin because usually when you print something in vase mode, being a single perimeter thick, it doesn't have as much robustness to it. And so fuzzy skin increases the thickness of that single layer, in effect making it a little bit stronger. It's not the most strong, but it could hold some flowers if we had some flowers. It was really neat because I finally got that OrangeStorm Giga working for this. I didn't have any clogs. I took the time to level the beds and I just crossed my fingers. And we came up with this, and I'm really, really happy with it. And so this was like the OrangeStorm Giga finally working. I finally got it bending to my will. And so, hello. So it's time now to print the rest of the parts for this. And oh, they didn't disappoint. Let's go! First up, this piece is kind of the crux of the whole thing. There's two holes here, and sized up to 600% means I'm gonna need some pretty big bolts or lag screws to go into there, but this is what's going to attach to a flat surface, just like that. That is for this application. This is the orientation it goes in, and it holds this thing. One of the considerations that I do have to sort of take into account is that I am dealing with plastic. It's not metal, it's not wood, and I'm also dealing with something very oversized. And so I'm really hoping that this can hold it all. This isn't that heavy when held here, but when held here, it's kind of heavy. So anyway, keep that in the back of your mind because it could be fun. Next is this. I wanted a giant screw. So I printed a giant screw. This one had an issue. For some reason, there was a problem with the filament sensor and it kept thinking it was out. I was able to put it back in, but it's not coming apart. And the reason why this worries me is because it goes like this. And there's that little problem right there. Don't worry. We won't know if our wings are gonna melt unless we try flying close to the sun, and that's my goal. Next part is this. This was really cool, printed in a couple different PLA materials, and it goes like this. Just like that. So if this is against the wall, then that can hold on just like that, swivel back and forth, and I'll actually have a nut to hold on right here. I need to get this on the wall, and I'm really thankful to have Ben behind camera and Hugo behind camera because they're gonna document this incredible adventure, and whether or not there is success or catastrophic failure, we don't know at this point. I wanna give you a little preview though of what's gonna happen later in this video. This is a model from STL Flix. It's a manta ray. This was printed in Hi-Fi Blue PET G from Protopasta on my Prusa XL. And we've been talking about the OrangeStorm Giga, and Of course, I wanted to see this Giga sized, and it may or may not have ended that 3D printer. You'll have to wait till the end to find out. I've got 2 more of these caps or nuts, whatever you want to call them. And I think for now, what I need to do is use this drill and use these lag screws, and we'll drill in over there, and then we'll see if we can't get this thing on the wall. Wish me luck. Safety first. Okay, it's go time. I've got the pieces mounted, and what we're gonna do is just kind of place it right there. That puts the holes right in line with the 2x4 that's behind the wall here. And then what I can do is just kind of make a little starter hole. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be messy. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I don't have the attachment for my drill, but I do have a ratcheting wrench here.
A few moments later.
That's not going anywhere. Next steps are actually putting on the heavy parts and relying on 3D printed plastic and the layer adhesion between the layers to keep this thing in the air. And if you're watching at home, just cross your toes, cross your fingers, cross your hands, you cross your heart. This is the first step in forever. It's awkward going up and down a ladder when you're holding 3D printed parts, but I think I'm gonna put this out this way so we can see it. Okay. Only one thing left to put on. Now, when we talked about the weight of things and how much weight this is having to support way out here, I'm a little nervous. And this is why this piece is not going up there, because it's incredibly long and it throws the weight way out at the tip. And I don't think we would see success. And I just want to see it work first before it just falls gracefully to the ground. So we're not doing this one this time. We're going to do this one. And I'm going to use my orange cap. Right there. I think I got it. I think I got it. Okay, I'm gonna let go. 3, 2, 1. No way! Okay, so obviously this is looking at least non-failure. And before I show you the next results, what we have on the Giga, I want to throw out a challenge to you. This model is available still over on Thingiverse where I originally got it. I've got a link down in the description. What I want you to do is come up with a design that I can put on the end right there. And if you remember, this is all 600% scale. So if you take one of the screw ends of the arms and size it up 600%, that's the size you're going for, because I don't know what I'm going to put at the end of this. And I know through here I'm going to have to reinforce it, but this is just the stupid kind of cool I like. All right, now you want to see the end of the Giga? Follow me. Now it's time to look at the Giga and talk about this incredible model and how it might be the end of that 3D printer, which really makes me kind of sad. This is the OrangeStorm Giga, and it's within my print farm room. I put it in here because the temperature is more consistent, and this printer is really loud when it's printing, and I thought this would be good since I have to film out there, and it's too loud to film next to. And I thought this model is cool. What if I was able to print this model giant-sized, enough where I could wear it as a backpack, or perhaps just give it a proper hug? You know, creatures of the sea, they're gorgeous, especially when they have eyeballs like this. And it's Boy in Space behind camera and 3D Printing Doctor. They all made these, and I wanted one of my own supersized. And so I attempted it, and it looks like I tempted fate too much. So this was my first attempt, and it looks like bed adhesion was okay. I did suffer some crazy layer shifting, which I know others have seen before. And if we flip it over, it looks like the model was centered over the 4 different build plates, and it wasn't able to maintain good adhesion in that area. And I think what happened was it started to spaghetti, pick some up, the nozzle hit some of this, the motors probably don't have enough power, and it just layer shifted, which is really sad. I don't know if it's sad that I saved it as well, but you know, whatever. So I thought, no harm, no foul. Others I know with this machine have experienced layer shifting. And I thought, I'm just gonna give it another go. And I'm gonna watch the first layer like I did before. And I did that here. And then sadness, a few hours later, we had to go out somewhere. We came back and the machine was destroyed. It had wicked up all of the melted filament up around the hot end. And normally something like this, if you can actually slowly dislodge it, you can save the hot end. You have to worry because the wires going to the heater and the thermistor are incredibly fragile. Yeah, they're really fragile indeed, because this popped out one of the thermistor wires, and then the clipper screen showed a panic and I shut the machine off. And I know this isn't a problem with the Giga. This isn't an Elegoo problem. This isn't a Giga problem. Having prints not stick and wick their way up the hot end is just a problem that we can have within 3D printing. But at this point, again, the machine is dead. Thankfully, I don't have to wait for spare parts. I know my friend Ben behind camera there, he's had to wait 15 days just for them to get to him, and then 15 more days to ship some parts to his Elegoo OrangeStorm Giga, and right now it's just a decoration in his living room, and I think he's actually setting up shop and he's going to sleep in there on the weekends. But for me, this is taking up a lot of space, and I'm so sad about this because normally I get a printer in and it has some issues and I can mitigate them, but for this machine, it's been problem after problem after problem. And even though this isn't a specific Giga problem, it's still incredibly frustrating, and the machine is down now for however long it takes for Elegoo to send me something. So I just want to express to everybody that's backed this machine, my fingers are crossed for you, because all of the things that every one of us have seen who've had it early haven't been necessarily addressed easily. And Elegoo, in searching for our feedback, hasn't always taken it to heart or told us that it's been valuable and fixes have been implemented. And so my dream is that you out there who have backed the OrangeStorm Giga don't experience any of the same Giga-specific problems we have. However, bed adhesion is just a typical thing with 3D printing. And so just make sure you have plenty of glue stick, nanopolymer adhesive, hairspray, thoughts and prayers, whatever you can to hold those prints down, because springs on those beds aren't going to give you consistent bed level. And I'm really sad that this is now a paperweight, a really large paperweight. My goal now is to outfit this in a way that will make it much better. I'm talking a new hot end, a new extruder, a rigid mounted bed, and it'll no longer be an orange storm. We're gonna call it a blue storm. And I hope that's what you get to see next. Well, just like that, we're done. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're awesome. Don't forget to hug each other more. Thank you, camera guys. There we go.
Oh, wait.
And as always, high five.